October the 25th is now called to order. We have an invocation by Councilman Corbin, and the pledge will be by Lieutenant Colonel Jenkins. Let us stand, please.
There's a lot going on in our country and a lot to think about, so I think what we're going to do today is take just a couple minutes in silence, and then I will start off with prayer. So your heads bowed, let's just take a moment of silence. Heavenly Father, we appreciate the opportunity to be here today. Help lead us in our decisions. Please keep a watch out over our country, our state, our city. Help us to make good decisions as we go to the polls. We ask that some of the things that are going on in our country, that we can learn to get along and have some common goals and visions. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. If you'll face the flag and join me in a pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Okay.
Madam Clerk, you may call the roll, please.
Mr. Bradford,
Present.
Mr. Everson,
Here.
Mr. Jenkins,
President.
Mr. Corbin,
Present.
Mr. Fleury,
Present.
Ms. Lynch. Here. Mr. Bowman.
Here. Thank you, Madam Clerk, and thank you, council members, for your attendance. I want to thank and welcome back our Vice Chair, Councilman Fleury, who has been out for a meeting. As you know, he has been ill and has made a speedy recovery. I'm thankful for him and for his contributions to this body. I will accept the motion to accept the minutes of the previous conference in council. Moved by Councilman Jenkins, second by Councilman Fleury, that the October 10th conference and the October 11th council meeting will be adopted. Are there any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes 7-0. At this time, we'll recognize any distinguished guests, presenting awards, and have communications from council members. Let me be first, if you please. I had the opportunity of meeting some time ago Ms. Jane Core, who is a very lovely young lady, and she showed me a video, and she also gave me a very detailed outline of what she do. She works with the Jobs for Life, which is something I'm very much interested in. She gave me an outline of a couple of workshops that's going to be taking place here in the town. I'm working with the North Shreveport Business Association on holding a job fair for everybody, but specifically the constituents of my district. But Jane, I asked her to come here today to show a video and make a few comments regarding the Jobs for Life. So Jane Core will come forward. Hello.
Hello. Thank you so much for this opportunity to speak about something that has really taken my heart, and it's Jobs for Life. Realizing that as Christians and the churches and the government has poured billions and billions of dollars into feeding and clothing and trying to house people forever, and it's worked very minimally, really. And if we don't get jobs for people, that poverty cycle continues over and over, generation after generation, but it can be broken. And that's the wonderful part about it. I see this with organizations like Community Renewal and the others that teach how to get your high school diploma. That's so important and key. And this is almost like a follow-up, but people even without that diploma can come through this program and it will help them not only get, but keep a job. And the video that you're going to watch now could be in Shreveport, Louisiana, just as easy as it was in Ferguson and so many other of our cities. And I'm not sure how to start this. So please pay close attention to this
Ferguson
video.
is universal. Ferguson is everywhere.
The truth is, most people were just going on living their lives, not concerned about each other. And Ferguson really highlighted the need for us to see one another.
Our reality is that we have high rates of poverty, we have high rates of unemployment, and that they're concentrated in communities that need our engagement and need us to care.
Outside of real authentic relationships, none of this works.
The local church is the platform for transformation.
The church has to be intentional about these relationships. It's the church that has to reach out to the politician. It's the church that has to reach the business owner. It's the church that has to reach the community leader. Because we've been given the assignment of the ministry of reconciliation.
What the whole world wants is a good job. And when people don't have good jobs, it leads to depression, the family breakdown, crime. Jobs for Life creates this platform where people can work together to help put people to work. And in the process, the biblical message of Christ reconciling all things.
Jobs for Life gives the church a tool to engage the community in a way to bring everybody in. And this is why it works. It's an ideal way to live out the gospel in a very practical way.
Jobs for Life is not just a job readiness program. It is a life readiness program. Not just from a skill standpoint, but also conflict resolution, character, commitment to the job.
So it addresses exactly the things employers are looking for in a way that says to both the employee and the employer, we care enough to make this match work.
I was searching, trying to find a job that was fit for me and my family, and it was a hard search, but I was happy to find the Jobs for Life program that helped me a great deal.
Now that I've graduated from the Jobs for Life program, I have a job as an accounting assistant at Clay Financial. It makes me feel proud.
I recommend Jobs for Life for everybody because it's helping you not only to get a job, but it's helping you to be better, to be stronger, to be the person that God has chosen for you to be.
I think that people want to see change, and not just wanting to see change, but be a part of change. And so Jobs for Life provided that chance for people to be a part of change.
When you gain employment, you can help the next person, and then the person that gets employed helps the next person. And so we begin to eliminate what we deem as the poverty issue, because now I can provide for myself, and what I'm doing is sustainable.
Jobs for Life, like so many programs that work, has to do with relationships. It's going to take relationships to break down those walls of prejudice, those walls of not knowing our brother enough to really love our brother. But God tells us, Jesus tells us to love one another. But we can't love each other until we get to know each other. I was so glad to go, and thank you, Mayor Tyler, for having that this weekend. It is everybody's concern. We need to listen to each other, and that's what we do as mentors. One of my students, or one of my mentees, called me today, so excited. She has a job interview, and she has been a long time putting out application after application and not getting any interviews. But we're only halfway through, and already, by helping her adjust her resume, she turned that resume in, and she has a interview, and that's like a miracle to her. So I invite you to come along beside us and be part of something that can make a very significant difference in our community, because we are helping people get jobs. This is our first class, and it's at Morning Star Missionary Baptist Church on Jewella. We have wonderful teachers, great mentors, and the the best is yet to come. But we need more mentors, we need more teachers, we need more of this program. So please look at the information you're getting through an email. Please go online and look at some videos and see, how can I help this program in Shreveport? It's simply multiplication. This person telling that person, this person getting involved and getting that person involved, to where we can have these classes not just at churches, but we can have them at the friendship houses, we can have them at the Crisis Pregnancy Center, at prisons, all over. And we can end joblessness, because a lot of the graduates across the country actually started their own businesses after going through these classes. So it is a very good solution to a mammoth problem. But again, I thank you for your time, and I ask you to please consider coming alongside. And we have a job and resource fair this coming Saturday from 10 to 2 at Morning Star Baptist Church. So please come out and just talk to us, and we'll listen to your hearts too. Thank you.
Jane, before you go,
questions.
Let me just again thank you for coming and
Thank you.
making this presentation. I'm inspired by your work and where this program could take us. I told you I did speak to Reverend Moore, and Reverend Moore is ready and looking for the opportunity to meet you.
Awesome.
He has pledged already to work with you in this endeavor. When I told you that I would be coming to the Saturday event, I failed to remember that we'll be working, this council will be working on Saturday, but I'll be getting back in touch with you.
Great.
And when you go email some information to the council members.
Yes, sir.
Also, if you will, email it to the mayor's office as well as the CEO's office. And I'm going to ask the mayor to forward it to department heads and human resource director, mayor. And we're going to expand this, and we're going to be visiting some other businesses that we feel like could partner with us in making this a reality within Shreveport.
Thank you so much.
It is the cure for a lot of ills. I know you know that. So thank you again, and we look forward to a successful endeavor with Jobs for Life in Shreveport.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Anybody else have any questions or remarks for Jane? Thank you, Jane, again for coming.
Thank you.
Any other council members have any recognitions, communications? Seeing none?
Well, I will make a public announcement.
Certainly.
Today is the first day of early voting, so that's important for everybody to know that. It's not a self-promotion, it is just an information.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, so take advantage of that opportunity to early vote if you see where you're going to be out of town on election day. Not even if you just want to early vote just to be counted early. That's another opportunity to take advantage of that. Okay. Mary, you have communications awards or recognition?
Yes, sir. We have some announcements for today. Mr. Chairman and members of the council, I'd like to thank you and all of the council members who attended the event on Saturday, on this past Saturday. We had more than 300 people, pretty close to 400 people to attend the meeting called It's Everyone's Concern, a conversation on crime and violence. It was held from 10 to 2 at Southwood High School. There were a lot of good, robust, and frank discussions. We left away from there with some concrete action plans that will have citizens engaged in addressing issues related to crime and violence in a meaningful way. And to add to that, I'm proud to announce that the Shreveport Police Department was selected because they did apply for a competitive grant, and they were able to get the word that they received $1 million from the Office of Justice Programs at the U.S. Department of Justice. It comes from the Bernie Criminal Justice Innovation Grant Program. The funds will begin being released in January of 2017. And of course, in fiscal year 16, grants were awarded under 2 categories: implementation only, and number 2, combined planning and implementation. And all of the BCJI sites engage in the planning phase along with community residents. a research partner, and cross-sector partners to examine data and conduct analysis to fully understand the crime drivers and specific hot spots within a targeted neighborhood. And I just want to say congratulations to Shreveport Police Department. All of our departments are pushing, trying to find resources to help make us a better city. And of course, because our department is already doing a lot with community-oriented policing, we were able to be competitive and bring home that $1 million. So congratulations.
Yes, sir.
Earlier this month, I had the opportunity to attend the Noche Gala 2016 Hispanic Awards, and there were guests from across Northwest Louisiana and East Texas region. We celebrate the achievements of influential Hispanics in our region with a night of glamour, success, and Las Vegas-style fun. We had to work until 11 that night, so it wasn't a lot of fun for us, but it was a great event for the Hispanic community. This year, also, Shreveport celebrates the 10-year anniversary of Allegiant Air, offering service from Shreveport Regional Airport with nonstop flights to Las Vegas and Orlando. Last week, our airport, in partnership with Allegiant Air, launched a campaign in celebration of this incredible milestone. We also said to the executive from Allegiant that we are looking forward to having year-round service to Orlando, because many of our citizens would like to go there year-round instead of at seasonal time of the year. Each week, for the next 10 weeks, 2 round-trip tickets will be given away to one lucky winner who registers. A grand prize giveaway will be held on December 30th, 2016, and one lucky winner will receive 4 round-trip tickets and a 3-night stay at the MGM Grand Hotel in Las Vegas. In less than a week, nearly 1,600 citizens have registered. The first drawing occurs tomorrow, so you must go to www.flyshreport.com/Allegiant and register for a chance to win. If you want to win one of these grand prizes, please go and register. We continue to serve our citizens with numerous events, and since we last met, the city has supported several events, including Think Pink, Breast Cancer Awareness Luncheon at Hollywood Heights, Movies and Moonbeams showing Goosebumps at AC Steer Park, Fall Farmers Market open at Festival Plaza, and the 5th Oceana Autumn Festival and the Wiley Festival of Lights in Asian Gardens. Therapeutic Recreation is hosting their flag football championships, and the list goes on. We have another guest that's coming, and we'll do that at the end of the meeting today, if you don't mind. But those are our announcements for today.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. And I, too, would be remiss if I did not congratulate you on your vision as well as your execution of everyone's concerned, conversation on crime and violence. I thought it was well planned, well executed, well put together, well attended, and I only see us moving forward. I thought it was a good launch into what we want to see happen in the city.
Thank you.
Thank you. And
if I may just say, I want to thank 3 of you were able to attend a lot of the planning sessions over the past 6 weeks. Councilman Efferson, thank you. Councilman Bradford, and of course, Councilman Bowman was able to make it. I think most of those meetings, and Councilman Jenkins came to 1 or 2 of those when he was not on the campaign trail. But I do want to say thank you for, I know some of you were not able to make it, but those of you who came to all those planning sessions, it really kind of helped everybody to be able to know the roadmap and what we were trying to do. And now the groups are out there following up, and the grant is going to help us do even more within the community. So we're asking people if they would continue to connect so that we can diffuse some of the crime and violence in our community. But thank you all for taking time out to be there and to help us plan it.
thank you, Mayor. And we was there because it was all of our concern.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, and if I could add, I should have done this earlier, but I know the mayor mentioned, in addition to it's everyone's concern was great. The festival that took place that night, the Asiana Festival in downtown Shreveport. Now, this is the 5th year that they've been doing the Autumn Festival, and I think they've probably done the Spring Festival maybe 7 years. And for anyone who's not familiar with this organization, I mean, they just really are a treasure to our community. This is a group of, started out as women, and they have other members too, but they are people from all different Asian cultures who, may not have a huge population of just one Asian culture or another in our local community, but when they come together, they want to celebrate those things about their own individual cultures, and so they host this festival twice a year. And in the meantime, what they do all year long is they improve on a once blighted city park that was really nothing but concrete and gravel and just kind of a forgotten park that they have turned into a really, really special place. So just want to encourage anybody, if you're not aware of this organization or you're not familiar with them, check out their next festival or go down there on one of their planning days and just visit with all the people, because you just learn so much at these festivals about different cultures that exist in our community and what a great benefit they are to our community. But also, I mean, it's just such a benefit that these people have done out of the goodness of their hearts. It's just a nice thing to see. So, and the city has supported that, and I want to particularly thank SPAR, who always supports this operation. But this year, one of the things that had been problematic in the past was the festival wasn't able to go on after sunset very long because lighting was a challenge. But there were some light posts that were there, they just weren't working. And the city went in and corrected that and made sure that they were working and functional. And it really allowed for this celebration to be what it was supposed to be, which is a celebration of lights. And so it was beautiful, and they did a fireworks show to cap it off. So it was really a nice thing. And thanks to everybody who made it possible.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Council.
I have one guest I'd like to recognize. I can do that now if you
Yes,
will
please,
allow
ma'am.
us to do that. Council members, I want to recognize Ms. Donna Curtis, who's the Executive Director of Shreveport Green. I think most of us know her. Shreveport Green was honored with the 2016 Outstanding State Affiliate Award, given to one affiliate that shows fortitude, leadership, creative, and diverse programming, as well as community engagement. They got the top state award this year. Also, Shreveport Green was one of 4 national recipients of a $10,000 Anheuser-Busch grant, and both the money and that money was put to good use in the restoration of Shreveport's Riverview Park, damaged by floods. And I want to ask Ms. Curtis if you will come up for just a moment and maybe share a little bit about what they did down there to help us at Riverview Park. Both of the money she got from Anheuser-Busch and the money she got from the state level, they put back into our community.
Wonderful.
Thank you, Mayor Tyler. I'm sorry I was late. I was on a webinar with Property Standards about vacant lot remediation and everything. Got some great ideas. So sorry I'm late. It ran over a little bit. We were honored last month to be the recipient of the top affiliate in the state. I've known for a long time we were the top affiliate, but it was good to be recognized. And with it came a check for $500. So it was real exciting. We're fortunate to have such consistent and fabulous support from the city and from you all. Some of the highlights, we have 11,750 volunteers last year with almost 40,000 volunteer hours. We had programming across the board, from litter pickup to enhancement to tree planting to education in the schools to community gardens to our mobile market. So we covered a spectrum of the community, and we were very fortunate to have the support we did. So thank all of you very much for that. The second thing I wanted was the Anheuser-Busch Award that we did. We wrote a grant on the spur of the moment in July. They sent out an RFP. They had $40,000, $10,000 apiece for remediation of property that had been public property that had been damaged by catastrophe. So I thought, well, our Riverview Garden, I know SPAR's working real hard to get that done. And I thought, well, maybe we could help with this grant. Never really thinking we would do it. We got it. There were one of 4 of us: Houston, Shreveport, Oklahoma City, I think Philadelphia. And we went down 2 weeks ago, that only day it's rained in about 6 weeks. We were down there with all of the Eagle Distributing. Thank you, Eagle Distributing. They brought out about 20 volunteers. We added about 4 or 5 board members. I know Mr. Crawford was there and Arlena came down. And we planted in the rain about 400 shrubs. I mean, hollies, hawthorns. I think it was 12 flats of pansies. That doesn't include the 400. I mean, it was unbelievable, and it looked beautiful. And SPAR has they were there too. How can I forget the SPAR people? They stepped in when all the volunteers were sort of giving out about 11:30. The SPAR workers came in and helped us with the final. So they were a huge part. And what was interesting, they kind of took a lot of pride in that, and they were excited about going on, I think, maintaining it, because we will give it, the city needs to maintain it, and they stepped up and said, absolutely, we want to do this. So SPAR was a huge partner in that, and came at a very good time. So we appreciate your help. We were lucky to get that. We've applied, we also just got a $10,000 Lowe's grant for the community gardens and the mobile market that we'll be using across the community. That came in a couple of weeks ago. So we just keep moving along. I think last year we had about $250,000 in grants. So we were pleased, and thank you for your support, because we have to have that to match it.
Donna, thank you for coming.
Any questions?
Thank you, Mayor, for inviting Donna. You know, we're so proud of you.
Well, thank you.
I couldn't even imagine this city without Freeport Green.
Well, I'm getting a little long in the tooth. I've been doing this. We're 26 years old, so we're in our 27th year. So it's been a long time, but we've had it's been the support. That's what we've had. We've been very fortunate to have the city and you and the parish and people of Shreveport. So we're thankful and we're grateful.
I can't thank you enough again for helping us doing the Great American Cleanup back in the spring.
That'll be in May, in April, and I'll be back.
Coming back to my district?
I'll be back. I'll be back before then.
Oh.
I'll be sure asking for your help to it.
Well, and I'll say you coaxed a lot of work out of those volunteers, I think, because when I stopped by to say hello, some of them said, I thought I was just here for a photo op, but they were really working.
The best story, Jeff, and I won't take up any more time, they were all spiffily dressed in their Eagle Distributing pants and their starch shirts, and one guy, and I said, okay, here are the 15-gallon hollies. You need to go and you have to mark it off every 4 feet. They're 4 feet around, and there are 60 of them. So go and put, he said, I've got on a pair of $400 boots. I said, we came to plant plants. He said, but it's raining. I said, we came to plant plants. You oversee planting those 60 hollies, which he did. That was cute. And Jeff, I appreciate you being there.
They were happy.
You can tell us. We were there, and I didn't even have a hood on. Everybody else had on the rain gear, but we got it done.
Thank you.
Right.
And it looks good.
It
Thank
does.
you also.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
Hey, yeah, anything
Thank you.
else?
That's it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Any other council members have any other remarks? Okay, we'll move forward then. We had reports, property standards. Anyone have any questions or inquiries regarding our property standards? Mr. Green is available to answer any questions. Mr. Green, I see no hands, so I thank you for your service. Our master plan report will be given to Mr. Sweeney.
Thank you. The opportunity just to let you know, we did have a meeting on October the 7th of the Master Plan Subcommittee, in which we talked a lot about the not only getting the Community Advisory Group established, we're in the process of actually finding people to recruit for the CAG, for the openings that we have, and we're going to hopefully have that group off and running in 2017. I think that's our goal, is to try to ignite that and to use that as it was a valuable tool during the master plan time process back in before 2010, and we'd like to reestablish that for this coming year. We talked a lot about the Unified Development Code, some of which I'm going to repeat from what I said yesterday to y'all in the work session. In essence, we've been very successful. We had the 2 public hearings for the Unified Development Code before the MPC Board, September the 29th, as well as October the 18th. And on October the 18th, the board voted unanimously, 9-0, to approve or to recommend approval of the Unified Development Code and the zoning map as amended, because we did make a series of about 33 amendments to the document and a few amendments to the map as well. And we'll be forwarding that on to the City Council and to the Parish Commission for their consideration. My goal is to try to at least bring it to you as an introduction, November the 7th or 8th time frame there, and for the Parish Commission on the 14th and 17th of November. We also, as you know, yesterday talked about the possibility of a joint work session between the City Council and the Parish Commission, and I think we're still waiting to find out what's a workable date for that. I think that would be a valuable way to accomplish the goal of making certain that both bodies are on the same page when they do finally take their final vote. Sure, I'd love for the vote to take place in November or December. I'm anticipating more than likely that vote won't take place until the first part of January, but we're ready to move forward and to work with you in making that an easy process.
Thank you, sir. All righty. Thank you. Anything else, Mr. Sweeney? Okay, anyone have any questions for Mr. Sweeney? I know he gave us some information on yesterday, which was very valuable, and...
I do have a question, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Mark, the document that goes along with the proposed UDC of public comments and things like that, is it on the UDC website?
Yes, sir.
And I'm looking at that website. Where is it?
Okay, you'll have to scroll down, and there should be a thing that talks about the comments as well as the comments as well as the responses. And then I was asked to Adam Bailey to put the amendments up there, or to have our Camiris folks put the amendments up there as well. If you go to the MPC website, you can already see the amendments and the comments. So we duplicated it in both websites.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
You bet.
Any other questions? The clerk is polling council members to see if any of those dates are available with us. Like we said yesterday, Sweeney, we are somewhat...
It's a busy time of the year.
But if we can get a majority
Sure.
plus to commit, we'll look at it. But if we don't, we just have to move at the pace that we can move, okay?
Sure, I understand.
Thank you, sir, for your service.
All right, thank you.
We have no public hearing today. Is there any legislation to be added to the agenda, Mr. Clerk?
We don't know, Mr. Chairman. Yesterday, we talked about the appointments that the mayor had made to the Municipal Fire and Police Civil Service Board, and the persons who were appointed were here, and the council discussed with them the appointments. And there was some discussion about whether the council wanted to suspend the rules.
I'll make that motion.
Bring that up.
Okay, the motion has been made that we will suspend the rules and take up that matter at this time.
To add it to the agenda.
To add it to the agenda.
And then this is matter to be added to the agenda, so you'll need to get remarks from anybody about whether or not they have any remarks for or against adding this to the agenda.
I will do that. Okay.
And if you'd like, for the record, I can name the people who've been appointed so that everybody will know.
Yes, once you do it, Mr. Clerk.
Miss E. Jean Ware, Mr. Brian Hollins, Mrs. Spate Gonzalez, and Mr. Ronald Remedies. That's a reappointment.
Mr. Remedies is a reappointment. Okay, those in the audience.
Who made the motion in the second?
Myself.
Oh, Mr. Jenkins motion and Mr. Bowman seconded. Okay. It has been moved and seconded that we will suspend the rules and take up the item of the Municipal Fire Police Civil Service Board. This was a legislation that was presented to us we want to take it up now because we want to go ahead and move on confirming these individuals. So if there's anyone here who would support, would like to speak on behalf of supporting adding this to the agenda, you may raise your hand or come forward. Anybody who would like to speak in support of adding this to the agenda? Is there anyone here who would like to speak in opposition of us adding this to the agenda at this time? Anybody would like to speak in opposition of this being added to take this up? Seeing none, it has been moved by Councilman Jenkins and seconded by Councilman Bowman that we will suspend the rules to take up the Municipal Fire and Police Civil Service Board appointees. Are there any discussion from the council members? If not, please vote.
I think probably he really means is to add it to the agenda.
Add it to the agenda. Well, yeah.
It's a unanimous vote for those who are in the chamber.
Okay, so I would rule that the motion passes 6-0, out of the chamber. Unanimous vote, those are present in the chamber. Okay.
If you wanted to take it up at this time, you could.
All right. I got a motion by Councilman Jenkins, second by Councilman Bowman, that we will accept these nominations, or what? Accept these appointments? Confirm the appointments of the aforementioned names to the Municipal Fire and Police Civil Service Board. Are there any discussion on that item? If not, please vote. That motion passes 7-0.
Mr. Chairman, let the record reflect that Mr. Everson was out of the chamber at the time the vote to add it to the agenda was taken, but he came back in and he voted for the appointments.
So ordered that the motion, that the minutes will reflect that Mr. Everson came back into the chambers and voted in support of confirming these individuals.
There are no other items that we're aware of to be added to the agenda, Mr.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. I have one request to speak, whereas it's a tabled item, agenda item. I have been advised by the city attorney that the privilege to allow him to speak is in order. We want to speak on ordinance 118, Mr. Kenneth Kraft. Mr. Kraft?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the council, Mayor Tyler. Kenneth Kraft, 157 Archer Avenue, Shreveport 71105, and I had asked the clerk, Ms. Thompson, before the meeting. I'd never spoken on a tabled item before, and I didn't know, so I'm glad.
You have 3 minutes, Mr. Kraft.
Okay. When we consider this ordinance and when we vote next month, it's the newest of the budget ordinances. The others are already in existence and have a new budget for 17. I just wanted to caution that the Social Security Administration announced recently a 0.3% increase for January 17, which is going to be wholly offset for 40-something million of 70 million by increases in Medicare Part B premiums. So the net benefit will stay the same. They used to actually go down until Congress finally acted and did a hold harmless. So now the Medicare Part B can take away every bit, and will, of a Social Security benefit increase. And so I had discussed this before with my councilman, Mr. Jenkins, on one occasion in front of former Mayor Glover at the MLK Forum on the 13th. I just think $8 a month raises 2/3 of the money, and you have the landfill fee money coming in, and I think we should look seriously at some of the budgeted vacant positions. And that's still $100 a year, and for a lot of Social Security recipients who will not go up, the $12 a month will represent 2% of their annual income. The $8 increase would represent 1 1/3% of it. So either way, they're going to be worse off. But we do need to pass this fee. I just think that $12 is a little excessive. And the final thing is, I just want to show of hands. Cubs.
What are you asking?
Indians. Cubs or Indians?
Cubs, it's been a long time.
Long drive. It's been a long dry spell for both.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, when you're talking the difference between, what is it, 70 and 90 years? I mean, I think both of those counties.
Okay, well, let's wish them both. Maybe because Cleveland got the city of Cleveland got a championship in basketball, I guess. Okay, thank you, Mr. Kraft. And we'll take all comments in our residents and citizens' conversation to us on our greatest consideration. Okay, clerk, we are at the agenda
Consent
legislation.
agenda legislation.
Yes, sir.
On the consent agenda, you have Resolution 181. I believe there may be a motion to remove it from the consent agenda and to postpone.
Mr. Chairman, I will make that motion to remove Resolution 181 and postpone until our
Introduce
next...
and postpone,
To
yes.
introduce and postpone until our next meeting.
Moved by Councilman Corbin, second by Councilman Jenkins, that we will introduce and postpone 181. Any discussion? You may vote. We working?
Should we hand
They're trying to vote.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Got to vote? Okay, 7-0. Motion passes.
The items that remain on the consent agenda are resolutions 176, 177, 178, and 179. The motion to approve the consent agenda would be in order.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Everson, seconded by Councilman Corbin for the adoption of the consent agenda. Any discussion? You may vote. Everyone
again,
voted?
Mr. Everson.
Go ahead and vote it.
Thank you.
Motion passes 7-0. Thank you. You may continue.
Mr. Chairman, on the agenda, the next item is introduction of resolutions. We have 181 stating the City of Shreveport's endorsement of Venue Solutions LLC.
I think it's 180, Mr. Clerk.
180.
180. To participate in the benefits of Louisiana Restoration
So
Tax
moved.
Abatement Program.
Second, moved by Councilman Everson, second by the chair for the introduction of 180 resolution. Any discussion? You may vote. Motion passes 7-0. Thank you.
There are two ordinances on the agenda that can be introduced. One is ordinance 119 that amends the 2016 Airport Enterprise Fund budget, and a companion ordinance 120 amends the 2016 capital improvements.
So moved, introduce.
Second.
Moved by Council Lady Lynch, seconded by Councilman Everson for the introduction of 119 and 120. Any discussion on these two ordinances? You may vote. Introduction passes 7-0.
We're now in the ordinances on second reading and final passage. There is one, it's ordinance 88A. It repeals ordinance number 88 of 2016 and readopts an ordinance levying various taxes totaling 17 and 29/100ths mills per dollar on all property subject to ad valorem taxation within the City of Shreveport
So moved.
for the years 2016.
Moved by Councilman Corbin, seconded by Councilman Flory for the adoption of 88A. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes 7-0.
Chairman, those are all of the ordinances on the regular agenda. I'm not aware of any ordinance to be pulled or resolution to be pulled from the consent table agenda.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry?
There are no property standards appeals or any other appeals to be taken up at this meeting.
Okay. If there's no appeals, are there any reports from our officers, boards, or committees?
I guess
Councilman Everson?
I'll report, we did have a meeting of the Riverfront B4 Committee meeting yesterday where we discussed sort of an update on some of the parking changes that had been done this year. Talked about when some of those changes would go into effect, and also talked about some of the challenges towards collecting revenue in parking and what we can do about it. And then the other part of that discussion was primarily around some downtown infrastructure issues and where we might be able to look for funds to address those. So it was a productive meeting, and if anybody wants some additional information, we'll certainly provide it when the time is right. But you know, I think initially we have some good conversations going where I think we'll see some additional legislation come from that. So we appreciate everybody participating in that. And if you need some more info, just let us know.
Thank you, Councilman Everson. Any other members of committees need to report? Okay. Thank you. Do we have a clerk report?
Mr. Chairman, I'll just mention one of the items that we talked about yesterday, since some of the members had gone. Talked about the fact that the council may want to suspend the administrative conference, which is scheduled for December the 26th, and reschedule any of the appeals and other matters for December 25th, for the 26th, for the 27th. And at a later meeting, I think probably have a motion or a resolution.
Yeah, thank you. I think
I was planning on being at that meeting.
I'll be here.
She was going to bring her leftovers and come on in and see if anybody would help her pick up all the wrapping paper.
well, if we got a commitment from the council lady, we may not reconsider that. But anyway, we talked about that, and we think it would be advantageous if we moved in that direction. So we'll look forward to that adjustment.
That's all I have, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Thank you for your service. Is there any additional communication from the mayor?
No, sir, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Is there any additional communication from council members? Let me do mention, council members, that we will be meeting on Saturday, 8 o'clock, and on Sunday at 2 o'clock. I'm prepared to discuss full and openly the items that we need to discuss. We wanna be thorough, and yet we wanna be informed as we discuss this. We need to consider this city and its residents in the future of this city with great care and love. So looking forward to meeting with you on those 2 days. I think we've had a nice lunch plan. If anybody wants something from Ernest, just leave $25 with Ms. White, and we'll get you something else. But other than that, the clerk is going to provide lunch. And let me also mention that
Hope you'll like the lunch.
Brad, please.
that the clerk has sent out a request for the joint meeting with the commission. Please respond whether you're going to be able to attend or not, so we can have an idea. Again, I would hope that the majority can be there, but if we can't get the majority there, we won't do it. We won't do it. Okay. That's where we are. Any other council members have any communication?
No, but the fair starts this week, I believe.
The fair starts this week.
Yeah. Thursday.
I know. I hope it stays good for them.
Well, usually when the fair starts, that means
Cold weather.
cold weather, yeah. Okay. All right, thank you, council members and the mayor. If there's no other communication, we'll move into public comments that were not a part of our agenda legislation. And the First person that I have here is that Rodney Flower? Yes. Fowler, okay, I'm sorry.
Mr. Chairman, while he's coming up, he came to the city council, introduced office today.
Okay.
And he had a complaint about how long it takes to evict people from their homes when they don't pay the rent or for other reasons. And I told him at the time that I didn't think that the city council had any jurisdiction over that. I thought it was governed by state law, but he thought that the council could pass some ordinance to assist in that. So I told him that the council was meeting this afternoon, and that's why he's here.
Well, Ms. Craig, as you know, you are correct, but we will hear Mr. Fowler and see see if indeed we can be of assistance. Mr. Fowler, you have 3 minutes. Please state your name and address.
My name's Rodney Fowler. I live at 233 Mary Street in Stonewall. I have 12 properties here in town, and I went today to file for an eviction because of threats and non-payment at one of my places, and they stated that it would be almost a month before they would be able to see it in court. And I think that's appalling that, you know, we have to wait for an eviction court, that you have to wait a month to get someone out. If they've got to wait that long, when I first started in the rental business, it was a week. Now, then it went to 2 weeks, and then it went to 3. They need to have more eviction court sessions. And I know that, you know, you may not be able to do anything, but someone needs to do something. Because if you go into our parish, you go to the Justice of the Peace, and they're out in within a week or so. You know, you get your 5 days or your 4702, Article 4702 signed by them, and you can have them out. You got to wait a month here. It seems like you could make an ordinance or something, or help in getting something done that would create more court dates so that the backlog could be addressed and brought down.
Okay, well, at this point, our authority is limited in dealing with this type of situation. I will refer to the city attorney with your recommendation.
Sure. Thank you.
But at this point, we have no real preview to intervene. You want to ask a question?
I served Justice Peace for 12 years in Ward 7, which is south of Caddo Parish. We have concurrent jurisdiction with the city court. I'm not sure where your properties are located, but there is a mechanism through the JP court out there if you have property in South Shreveport.
But it's in the 71108 and 9 over near the fairgrounds, and I'm not sure how it falls there.
City marshal, city court. Yeah.
It's a shame that they can't allow a justice of the peace within that area when they allow it in outlying areas, like you say. If they did, that would be a clear remedy, because if it was backlogged like it is, it could relieve some of that backlog.
Those are set by legislature. The state legislature sets the JP court. So.
Well, I understand that, but they're within. You're still within the city limits in some of those, and if they are, then why can't you create justice of the peace within those areas also?
Okay.
Well, like I say, we at this point has no standing, but the city attorney has given me the nod that he would investigate this scenario. If there's something that the council could look at, he will recommend that to us. Thank you for coming down. Okay. Betty Davis. Betty Davis. Okay. Donna Curtis.
Donna.
Yeah.
Come on,
Donna Curtis, 775 Thor Boulevard, Shreveport, and I'm here to speak on the solid waste ordinance that will be before you all. I'm speaking as an individual, but a lot of my, I guess, my looking into this over the last 25 years as a result of my association with Shreveport Green and being able to visit and to observe cities across the country over the last 25 years. 1991 was the first time I asked our solid waste Public Works Director why we didn't have a solid waste fee. I said, who pays for our garbage fee? Who where does all this money come from? I know Atlanta, Georgia has a $26 fee. Bossier Parish now has a $24 fee. Seattle has a fee based on how many pounds, how many bags of garbage you produce. What do we do? And I was told it came strictly out of the general fund. So for the last 25 years, I've been speaking as an individual to encourage us to form have some kind of a fee that goes directly to solid waste and public works. I feel like it gives the only word I can come up with is respect for solid waste and garbage we produce. We've got to take care of it. Each one of us produces over 4 pounds of garbage a day, 4 pounds of waste a day. Whether we recycle it or we get rid of it in the landfill or however we deal with it, that's how much we produce, each one of us in the city. And I feel like it's a fair garbage fee. I think a public works fee is fine on top of the recycling fee. I think it's a very reasonable rate. It's going to be, I'm also going to be impacted by it, and it's going to cost me, and it's not going to be an easy fee for me to accept, except I think it's necessary. And I think it's time Shreveport stepped up and joined with I have searched, I've internet searched, I've asked, I've checked at meetings on a national basis. I can't find any city our size that does not have some kind of a designated fee. So I feel like it's time for Shreveport to step up and let's just take it. We need the money. We need new garbage trucks. We need more pay for our public works workers who are out there every day. And it is not a pleasant and it's sometimes dangerous occupation. So I feel like we need it, and I'm just speaking in favor of it as an individual, and I would encourage you to vote favorably on it.
Thank you, Ms. Curtis, for those remarks, and we will be taking all comments from our citizens in consideration. Senator Mears.
Sammy Mears, 1901 Centenary Boulevard, Shreveport, 71101. I come today with a very concerned matter that was recently talked about. The glitch that was found in a water bill in the computer that was recently found, the person or persons who did this did a very good job of that, and I want to commend them for it. Also, it was just a little unusual that they would ask for $1 million. I don't know how that ever would have happened. They need to just really kind of maybe rethink about it just a little bit. I don't know if it means a lot to you, but it does to the people I had talked to. And of course, they came to me and kind of brought it to my attention. It just seems like that they were just probably asking for what they thought was right. Now, I know that the glitch was found, and that was a good thing. And other people may come to speak on this matter. I don't know. If they do, I can respect them very much, as they will probably respect me for what I've already said. It'd probably be up to anyone, I guess, today to just kind of think about that. Should they or shouldn't they? And whatever the decision is, I can understand that. I have a very concerned heart for this matter. I took quite a little bit of time writing the speech because I knew that if I didn't write a speech to say something, I'd blank out. And I just can't stand it if I try to say something and then I know that I'm going to blank out on what I need to say. So hopefully the right decision will come, and whatever you decide, I'll support that.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mears. Mr. Albert Brown.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Mayor, City Councilmen, good evening, everybody. I'm back here again. I'm concerned about the stop sign. I was down there, Sarah, that with you did a tremendous job, and about the stop signs that we haven't gotten yet. Also, the fact that me going out throughout the neighborhood, the Department of Standards is not doing their job because they giving me a runaround telling me about these old houses in the neighborhood. They're not knocking them down fast. They're not doing anything until we have to go back and do the research and find all the, because the grandmothers and all them are dead.
The heirs.
Yeah, the heirs. So we have to go back and do all the research, and we're getting them out of there and everything. But I'm hearing that they're saying that they done did the research on the stop signs, but they're not there. I'm there. And I know some of my people that wanted to come with me today because I didn't tell them because we had the National Night Out and they had to stop for Jesse and they didn't get a chance to come with me today. So, because I got to go somewhere else when I leave here. And but I can't understand how come Southern and Henderson get the stop signs and they got dead end streets. They ain't never got the traffic we got. Like I told you, we got city buses, we got school buses, and you're not there. We're there. I live there. I live right there. I see this. I'm retired. I see it. At 83rd, then they take off fast. They're telling me they done sent the police there. If the police are there, then how come they're not writing tickets on those no parking anytime signs? They're not being there. I live there, Dr. Chairman, and I'm telling you, I hate that I keep coming down here and have to say it, and I pray to God that nobody has to die again before we do something about it. Why is it that has to happen? One more thing. A friend of mine told me, and I don't want to say that, but I'm going to have to say it. He said, it's a shame that you come down there as a black guy, and he said he came down here as a white guy, he got everything he needed. And I'm coming down here as a black man, and I'm going to have to beg you all to put that stop sign out there. Just 2 stop signs, 83rd and 73rd. That's all I ask. That's all I ask, man. No disrespect to you.
Let me say this, Mr. Brown, and I appreciate you coming down. We encourage our citizens to come before this body and to bring your concerns and your grievances. I know you've been here at least 4 times since I've been to city here. You've communicated with your councilman. I actually will continue to communicate with your councilman and make the case to your councilman that this is so much needed. And I guess what let me reject that notion that if somebody of a different skin pigmentation come down that they get sort of it's the merits of what the issue is. What I'm saying, I asked you, I said, Mr. Brown, if this rise to the level in which you have articulated over the last 3 times you've been here, I said, get you a camera, a video camera, video these instances, take some pictures, make your case with your council person. We're not in that district. Councilman Corbin is in that district, and I said, make your case, because you come down with an opinion about what needs to happen when the process, we have a process in evaluating and seeing how, doing the research to see if certain issues are warranted. Citizens come down often and say, we need this, y'all need to do that, but again, we have to so dispatch those departments that are profession in these issues, and and they come back and report to the administration about this the data that says, okay, it warrants this. If you're saying speeding is the issue, not necessarily the stop sign, then those are two issues. But I'm saying that coming down and making a verbal presentation is one thing. Coming down with video with your council person, knowledge and understanding that, okay, this is what is really happening, then I think your councilman would be considerate of that. And then if the administration would not execute such a remedy, then the council would have no other alternative but to look at it more objectively, because you have made a case about, you know, the hazards and the dangers of not having this apparatus within your neighborhood. But we're not there. All we can go about is the data that has been reported to the administration with the recommendation of your council member. So we really, you know, I mean, I'm asking again that you speak to council, do some filming and picture taking, and show him, then to show the administration where this is happening, and then the council, if nothing happens, would have again some real evidence to see how and what we should do to help bring remedy to this situation. And that's my recommendation, and that you would, if you would collect some data as it relates to video and pictures, just to go over that with your council. He's not there all the time. I'm sure the police is not there all the time. City departments are not there all the time. But you say you live right by the street, by the where you feel the hazards are, and you can take those pictures and take those videos and make your case. Can you do that?
Every time I get ready to take it, they always get, I said, Lord, I always miss it.
What?
And I'm like, but you guys can't believe what I'm saying?
But didn't they put up already put two signs?
That's all they put up, the 81st and the 70, the other one. But if we just get two more, like I said, just to break that speed, one more, just that 83rd and 73rd, it'll break, because it's broke. I mean, they are stopping now, but then they take off real fast again right there at 81st.
Well, but that's what the traffic engineer said would happen in the first place.
Exactly what we said.
That's what the traffic engineer said would happen in the first
That's
place.
what I'm saying,
Is that he
but if
said
you
when
get
you
that
make them
83rd.
stop artificially, you know, when they'll speed back up right away.
Okay.
And so that's why he didn't want to put the first two stop signs out there. That's what I remembered. I mean, I
Okay,
could
but
be wrong.
Southern and Henderson, they don't have near about the traffic we got. And they got those stop signs on every corner. I can't understand that, y'all.
Why they don't have the traffic that's on Thornhill? It's because they have more stop signs. And
That's what I'm saying. And that's why that lady got killed, because it was just a straight shot.
The lady, the Miss Bradbury got killed because a young man decided to drive in excess of 80 miles an hour down Thornhill. That's not an everyday occurrence.
Sir, you don't live there. I live there.
I don't live there. You're exactly right.
Father, I done told him.
And
Thank
that's
you
why-
so much.
And that's why I go out there and I've had the police monitor it.
I told you, sir. Thank you.
Well, I'm not a professional traffic engineering person, neither am I a professional in most of these requests that we get service to respond to what a citizen think is a necessity. We only can act on what's recommended by the professionals. And unless, again, there's visual evidence to say otherwise. And this body cannot act arbitrarily on any issue without having the professionals of this city to review those and make those recommendations. So I regret that we can't help you at this time, but we can help you if more could be shown to this council. I have no other request to speak. I'm sorry. I didn't look at the board, so we will recognize Councilwoman Lynch.
What did the gentleman say his name was?
I'm sorry. No problem, Mr. Brown, thank you.
Mr. Brown. Let me say, in Mr. Brown, come back. And I was doing good, but this whole situation reminded me I need to take my blood pressure medicine. And I hadn't done so today. And I don't want you to leave thinking that you're not absolutely right in what you're saying. Okay? I don't think he has to take no video, pictures, or anything else, and have to jump through a bunch of unnecessary hoops to get a four-way stop put in that community. You can make data say what you want it to say. And quite frankly, we do make arbitrary decisions sometimes. And we do make decisions based on who and what neighborhood, what person it is. So ideally, no, we don't and we shouldn't. But to say that it doesn't happen, it's not true. I've been just kind of watching this situation from a distance. And, you know, and I understand that Councilman Corbin is not in support of it, for whatever reason. But I just feel that if this is what the community feels, it's everyone's concern there, and if they feel that this is what they need for their community to feel safe and to be protected in the way that they want to be protected, what is it gonna hurt to put 2 other stop signs there? I just don't see what the big issue is. It's not about, I mean, that's what they have expressed that they feel that they need. In addition to actually having a very tragic incident to occur. And you can say, you know, it's because this person did this or that. Well, accidents happen. They happen every day, you know, every second of every day for whatever reason. But if this community is expressing, we've spent more time researching this, meeting with the community, and taking them through a whole bunch of changes. We spent more time on this than some things that we should be spending time on. And I'm just not really understanding myself why it hasn't been done, or what the big issue is. I'm not really sure if it's something that the council person has to say yes or no to. I'm not really sure about that. But I do know that data can be manipulated. And even if the data says, well, we don't think, it's a fine line, we make those decisions too. Make them, every meeting we make decisions. Something may not be contiguous, it may be contiguous, it may have to, involve the city in something that just may not necessarily, be a straight line. It may be gray. We have some gray situations, and we still act on them. So I'm hoping that you all get some resolution to this, and not just let this go. But I don't think that you have to beg. You all are taxpayers, and you shouldn't be in a position to have to beg for something. I don't believe in that. If you ask for what you want, and you have an expectation that you're going to receive it, okay? And continue to assert, your rights to have your situation addressed. Thank you.
Yeah.
Mr. Brown?
Please, I don't disrespect you all, okay?
No,
'Cause I pray for you guys
No,
every day.
You're fine.
I love you guys.
You have the privilege to come to this body and make your statements, and we owe it to you to give you our best response.
Because I'm telling you what goes on.
Brown, I just want to go back to your comment about the color of your skin.
Yeah.
I'd like you to know that I've been on this council for almost 2 years. I've submitted 4 requests for stop signs, and all 4 of them have been turned down. And I chose to accept the leadership of the traffic engineering's wisdom than to try to overrule it because he said it wasn't in order. So I just wanted you to know that I, too, it's not just you. They have to make that decision based on, and that doesn't say you're right or wrong, but I just wanted you to know that.
Yes, sir. I understand.
Same way, for me,
I
I've
see it.
requested stop signs,
that-
and they've
I
been
live
turned
there.
down.
Let me be clear, as the chairman, I need to make this clear, okay? Let me make it clear to you and to my council members. We are a body that moves through a process,
Yeah.
okay? A process.
Yes.
We the legislative body of this city, all right? I said I wasn't a professional in regards to traffic engineers, but I am semi-professional in healthcare. We have patients that come into our facilities who request certain medication. They go to the pharmacy and they request certain medication without the doctor's diagnosis. The pharmacists turn them down because they don't examine themselves. They come in, feel like they need this medication, but unless the doctor writes a prescription, they can't get that medication. Okay. Now, I said that to say, in similarity, okay, we are a body with a process. Now, unlike you, if a council member chose to write legislation or ordinance or resolution to give you a stop sign, they have that privilege. They can do that, okay? We try not to interfere with other councilmen's districts, but if a council member on this body would like to write a ordinance to put a stop sign, they have that privilege. And this body will then have the responsibility to respond to that legislation. Okay? But I'm saying, but as a body who does not administrate, the mayor administrates.
Yes.
Okay.
I understand.
And the
I
mayor
understand.
acts on the recommendations of her department heads or her department personnel. We cannot act on the recommendation or the opinion of a citizen. It happens all the time. It may not be to some people that complicated that we should just do this because the citizens say let's do this. Okay, but we can't circumvent our system of government, and that we can't order something if we don't see where it's warranted through the proper process of those who are and have the responsibility of assessing these issues and bringing them back to the administration for their consideration and for their execution. Okay. But again, if we want to be arbitrary in saying, okay, regardless of what the experts say, that we want to write legislation to enact something that is contrary to the recommendation of an individual department, then I'm suggesting that the council members write it and let this body then be in another posture to act on it. But until that happens, we have to go by the process in which we have been sworn to uphold. And I'm saying, and I told you, and I'm going to say it again, the way that could be circumvented is that you make a case. You make a case by having petition, having other type of evidence that you can make your case on why we should do it. But coming here, just making a verbal commitment, a verbal request, we can't act on that.
They was gonna come because, like I said, I just didn't get them today because, like I said, I got another meeting.
Again, verbal. We need something that evolves from verbal into something tangible that you can show those of us who are not a part of that community. But I'm still going to suggest that you would try to, in all due respect, to work with your councilman, your council person. I mean, ain't nobody here unreasonable. I've been sitting here now for about 18 months, and everybody seems to be reasonable in their interpretation of what they think their responsibilities are as a council person. And if you can, again, make that a reasonable inquiry that this is needed to the extent that no other remedy is afforded you, then we will look at that.
Mr. Bradford, can I say this, please?
Yes.
We had to pull teeth just to get those stop signs we got now through him, because we had a big meeting down there with him. No disrespect, Mr. Corbett. We had a big meeting down there at the rec, and you know he made a statement there. I ain't got no stop sign in my trunk. He made a statement, and one of the city council, city members said, "How come he said that? That was out of order." It's like it's a joke to him to say that. And we was like, "Wait a minute, you shouldn't have said that."
Mr. We're not going to get into a just for that. You may be excused, sir. You may.
Thank you.
No, he can sit there.
He can sit there.
Stand there. I don't care.
All right, Mr. Corbin, go ahead.
I want to clarify something, and I want to, you have spoken today and previously when Mr. Brown's here about a process, and you're exactly right. There is a process, and we have gone through that process. The mayor, the CAO, numerous city staff, and myself have met with the CARE organization multiple times about this and other issues that they're concerned about. The process is they brought that concern about potential speeding and traffic issues, and traffic engineering went out and studied it. They came back, presented their results. The CAO and I went back out and met with the folks at CARE and said, here's the results of the study. The results of the study showed there was no need by traffic count, by speeding, by anything, that there needed to be additional stop signs. But the CAO and I agreed to install 2 stop signs to slow traffic down.
Against everyone's recommendation?
Against every recommendation, every bit of the process that's out there. In October, no, not in October, I'm sorry, in August and September, Shreveport Police went out, after Mr. Brown was here, I asked Shreveport Police to go out and monitor speeding, to write tickets, and observe at multiple days and multiple times. They did that. What did they find? Less than 1% of the traffic was speeding, yet they wrote 10 tickets for running stop signs.
Where they wrote them?
They've continued
Mr. Brown, please.
to go out
You
and
out of order.
monitor.
You out of order.
I'm sorry.
I drive that street at different times of the day, at least once a week, twice if I can. Am I going to see everything? No. Do I live in that community? No, I don't. But I'm out there as much as I can, and I rely on our Shreveport Police. I rely on our city staff, whose job it is to monitor traffic out there, to come back with an answer. I certainly don't encourage the idea of council members submitting legislation that affects other council members' districts. I believe that's a slippery slope that we don't want to start. But we have spent a lot of time on this, and I want to know where the end point is. I mean, I know where Mr. Brown's end point is, but if the city staff, if Mayor Tyler's staff has come back and done their jobs as they have and said that there's not a need for additional stop signs, let's end this conversation. Let's continue to move on and work on other things in the neighborhood. But continuing to every couple weeks to frustrate Mr. Brown, to get our conversation going, I just don't see that this is a good thing.
Ms. Taylor, can we have a meeting with him then? Because,
Well, let me address what you said, because at one of the meetings when I was asked about stop signs, my frustration level was growing too, because I felt like I was being attacked for something that I couldn't do, and I did make the statement. I don't carry stop signs in the trunk of my car that I can go plant in the ground at citizens' request. The rest of that statement was there is a process. There's a study that's done of traffic, and that's exactly what we did. So if somebody took that as offensive,
they did.
I'm sorry about that, but it's the truth. And the city council member's job is to bring requests like that to administration and let it go through the process, which is exactly what we've done here. There, you know, I don't want you to continue to be frustrated, but I don't want you to continue to hope for something, and I believe some people are feeding you some bad information, but I don't see where this conversation goes any further than this.
Okay. Administration have any comments on this? No? Okay, thank you. But please know that you're welcome to come to this body and make comments on any subject that you choose.
Can I just say one more thing about, is, you know, if it was just a matter of us just saying, okay, put a couple stop signs up, stop signs aren't expensive to install. The thing is that if we were to put some stop signs up and it created a traffic problem that led to someone's death instead of preventing a traffic problem, that would be on us. And I don't want that on my conscience. You know, so if the professionals say that this will make something less safe, then, and you have a different opinion, but I have to feel like that professional's opinion is somewhat valid, and I'm listening to yours and I understand yours. I have no problem spending the money to put a couple of stop signs up. What I'm concerned about is if the engineer is telling us it will make it more dangerous, that is not what I want. So we are concerned about the people driving on the streets and living in the area and concerned for their safety, and until a traffic engineer says this will make it safer, not more dangerous, that's why it's a hard decision.
They take off from 81st and they fly, they got nothing else to stop. That's what I'm saying.
Well, but it's not me. It's not me that needs to understand the difference. It's not me that needs to understand the difference. It's a traffic engineering professional. So, I mean, until they can understand why they're wrong.
Well, professionals thought the world was flat at one time too, so.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Brown. Thank you, council members, for your expressions and observations. Ms. Corbin, you feel that all the potential solutions has been exalted on this issue?
I believe everyone's done their job.
You don't see where further review from police or traffic engineers is needed?
I do not.
All right, any other business coming for this body? Seeing none, this meeting is adjourned.